Hello love warriors, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am Just Flow, and I am a life coach and a messenger of the heart. What does that mean? It means that I guide my audience and my clients into building harmonious, peaceful, and loving relationships. Why? Because a lot of the struggles and the pain that we had to go through, we don't want the next generation to go through that. So if we are more in touch with our essence, if we are more in touch with our creative life force, we can pass it on to the next generation. So this video, like always, unless it's bursting with energy, is going to be talking about love and relationship. And I'm going to be answering a few questions. So let's get into it. By the way, my hair is like this because I'm flattening it out. I'm going to my little sister's guitar concert. So yeah, I wanted a slick ponytail, so don't mind me. All right, question 1. How do I know if it's real love or trauma bonding? Real love will entail you becoming an extension of love. Everything you do is coming from a place of love. Everything that flows through you is coming from love. Everything that is you is grounded in love. Does that mean sometimes there's going to be situations that get you out of that? Of course, right? We're human. We have emotions. We have energy. We're going to go up and down. But the essence of who you are is love. When it is trauma bonding, the essence of who you are comes from your trauma. It comes from a past memory that is replaying through your behavior, through your thoughts, through everything that you are, basically. Everything that you touch, everything that you encounter will have a connection to the trauma. You're always going to question, oh my gosh, is this coming from that hurt place? Oh my gosh, this reminds me of that memory. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of this. Instead of creating new loving moments, you're always comparing this moment and this bond to that memory and anything that is connected to that memory. Love and trauma bonding is two very different feelings. I can guide you guys through this. Feeling the essence of love, covering your aura, your energetic field in love. When it's trauma bonding, that energetic and that electromagnetic field is a lot smaller, and there's a lot more doubt and interference when it comes to your magnetism. And so you're going to attract someone that's like, oh, I talked about this in the last video. You're going to attract someone that's just reflecting that bond. But it's a little different because you can have a twin flame or you can have a soulmate, and then you guys will have the same kind of trauma, right? But you guys have healed through that. So me and my partner, I talk about him often because the Love Warrior would not exist without Kenzo. We bonded over our hurt. We bonded over our pain. But that wasn't the essence of our bond because that didn't come up until later. When we first started dating, it was all about us, being in the moment, learning about each other, having fun. Our first year together was really all about having fun. It wasn't until a year later that we really started talking and opening up because we felt safe with each other. We felt like, okay, this is going somewhere. We started opening up about our past, about our family, but it wasn't what created the relationship. It wasn't our foundation. Our foundation was really like, I like you, I'm attracted to you. I want to get to know you. Let's be in the present moment. Let's have fun. Let's do everything together. We were always together, always, but that didn't mean sharing every part of our past. Until that came over time. There's some things that me and my partner talk about now that I didn't know happened to him in his life because it comes up with certain situations. It comes up with, oh, this happened to me when I was with my family. This happened when I was in high school. This happened when I was, and I remember that. And it goes hand in hand with what you were talking about with on your show Bursting with Energy, because we do the show together. So there's certain things that will be like, oh my gosh, I have lived through that, but it wasn't a sense, and it wasn't a part of our bonding. So how will you know if it's real love or trauma bonding? You'll know by what is flowing through you. You'll know by your behavior. You'll know by your memory triggers. You'll know by the stress signals. You'll know by your relaxation signals. You'll know if you're in parasympathetic mode or sympathetic mode, which is survival mode or relaxation mode. And if you are not sure what that feels like, I invite you to join one of my programs or my free workshop. And we will get in touch with that feeling of love. We will connect to that feeling of love in different ways. I have different methods, but we will connect to that feeling of love so that you know what it means to be in it and what it means to be out of it. Because when you're out of it, you can then realign yourself to get back into it and flow and become that extension of love. To me, it's really important to understand what real love feels like, because I want to embody that and create a family that is nurtured and nourished in love. I want to treat my family with love. I want to build something, a foundation, build a structure that is rooted in love. And so it's really important to know what that feels like, so that everything that I build and everything that I create is connected and is rooted in that feeling, rather than something that I believe is love when it really isn't. So it's really important for you to distinguish the two, so that you understand that what you're getting into, what you're creating, what you're co-creating, what you're building is what you really want to be feeling: a union, a togetherness, a connection to source, to love, rather than a memory that re-triggers a trauma, that re-triggers pain, that re-triggers hurt, and that keeps you in that cycle. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. And if you want to dive deeper, like I said, join one of my programs. We can dive deeper, we can look into it together, and you will have accountability and support. Question 2. Can you manifest a soul-aligned partner if you're still healing? You definitely can. Why? Why can you? So a lot of people say you attract what you are, right? I even said you attract what you are. But it's more you attract what you need to become more of who you are. So if you're healing and you're focused on healing, you're going to continuously keep healing nonstop. And I'm not sure what that looks like for you, but that means that you're attracting things that will ask, are you healed? Evaluate and test you. Are you healed? Does this still trigger you? Does this still bother you? Does this still stress you out? So rather than attracting things that are going to test that, you want to focus on the things that are growing what you want, which is a harmonious, soulful love. If you are on this channel, then it's a harmonious, soulful love. And so if you concentrate on that feeling of what is harmonious, soulful love, or you seek and you question what is harmonious, soulful love, everything in your life will be there to show you this is what harmonious, soulful love looks like. This is what harmonious, soulful love feels like. This is what harmonious, soulful love is connected to. And so you won't be focusing on the healing, you'll be focusing on that harmonious, soulful love. And through that journey, you will heal, because you'll be attracting things that are harmonious, that are peaceful, that are soulful, that are loving. So you can definitely attract a partner while you're still healing if you are focusing on the things that are for your growth, that are for you, that are allowing you to become more of you. And that means understanding, who am I? Who am I? What do I desire to experience in this life? What do I desire to share with the world? What do I desire to embody? If I am embodying and truly sharing who I am, that means sitting still, aligning yourself. I am, fill in the blank. I am love warrior. I am a protector of children. That's for me personally. But for you, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that... whatever. What is that whatever? So yes, you can definitely still manifest a soul-aligned partner if you are still healing. Question 3. Why do I keep attracting non-committed partners? What are you committed to? All of these questions, if you guys have noticed, always comes back to you. Because you are the universe. The universe is within you. You are the micro of the macro. And so everything that comes into your life should reflect that. Every person that you hear out, every person that you see, should be allowing you to understand a deeper version of yourself. Even the relationships that are conflict-based, they will teach you something about yourself, something that you want to heal, something that you want to grow, something that you want to build. You are forming yourself. You are in the process of becoming all of who you are. And so enjoy the experience of that. But I know it's not. It's not very fun if you're attracting... Clock says 444. So it's not really fun attracting non-committed partners, right? But how do you always end up in those situations? Why do you always end up in those situations? We can look at that together. Because there's a story to everything, right? What is the story that you're saying in your head? When you say, I always attract non-committed partners, that is the story that you're saying in your head. And it's not just that phrase. There's a continuation of that story. So I always attract non-committed partners. And I think this reminds me of when I was young. This reminds me, is it because my dad wasn't around? Is it because my mom never showed me how to love a partner that was available? Is it, there's just a bunch of stories that we tell ourselves that are not true. The stories are not true because they're not in the present moment. In this present moment, you're here, you're sitting, you're reflecting, you're being with yourself, you're listening, you're taking in and receiving the information that you need to take in and receive so that you can become a more full version of yourself. And attracting non-committed partners is not a full version of yourself. So change the story, reframe the story. Am I ready for a committed partner? Am I ready for a relationship that means that I will be giving all of me and becoming one with this person, and that we will be going on the spiritual journey of growth together? We will be going on the spiritual journey of ascension together. We will be creating a family that has the foundations and everything they need so that they can grow in truth, in love, in harmony. My children will have all the tools that they need to navigate this world that is not always nice, and they will become better for it because they can sit at the table with enemies and be strong and know that the reason that they are here is to accomplish their mission. The reason that they are here is to learn and experience and graduate from this school of life. We are not just body. We are not just vessel. We are not just this temple. This is our home, but we are more than that. And we can decorate our home however we want. It does not matter. It matters how it makes us feel. And it matters how it creates this experience that we are enjoying or not enjoying. That's a choice. So you can choose to attract committed partners. Flip the switch. Flip the switch. 4. Is it possible to outgrow someone you deeply love? What does it mean to outgrow someone you deeply love? I feel like that question is incomplete because you can grow, and your partner or the person that you deeply love, it doesn't have to necessarily be a partner, it can be a family member, it can be a friend, but the person that you deeply love is not where you are at, right? So you're at different levels of consciousness. So yes, it is possible to outgrow someone that you deeply love. Does that mean you need to get rid of that person? No, it doesn't. It means that you just need to simply give that person space to grow as well. Because like I said, you're always going to attract the people that are mirroring your experience, right? So if that person still wants to be in your life, it's because there's something about you that inspires that person. If you want that person to still be in your life, it's because there's something in that person that inspires you. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that you guys go your separate ways. It could mean that you go your separate ways because your spiritual path is just very not aligned. And I'm sorry for you because that will hurt. But it also means that it leaves space for more to come into your life that will support that structure and that spiritual growth that you are going through. So is it possible to outgrow someone you deeply love? Yes, definitely it is possible, but it doesn't mean that they always get left behind. It just means that they're going through their journey at their pace with the information that they have at that time and with the energy of and with the energy that they have at that time, because not everybody has the same amount of energy. It takes a lot for your soul to pilot this vehicle, right? And so you need energy, and you need to generate energy so that you can keep that connection, because it's a very strong connection. Energies of alignment, energies of authenticity, peace, love, they're very strong energies. And so if you're encountering someone that is draining your energy and you're not replenishing, you're not going to be able to sustain that connection with source. So you could say that you've outgrown that person and then you're not unable to sustain your connection with source and you just disconnect. And that person, because they were slower, they built a more consistent connection, and then the momentum just skyrocketed, and like a snowball, they were just they went off. And so they have such a stable and strong connection to source because they were slower with that journey. So it depends what's going on in everybody's energy field. And so I think that you should accept, or I know that you should accept everybody where they are, not try to change them, but more inspire them in walking in their truth. Hold space for them. Hold space for yourself, because you never know when things could flip around. Last question. What does it mean being in your feminine and masculine energy? Well, what does being in your feminine and masculine energy really mean in love? So we have both energies, like we know, right? We have masculine, we have feminine. When you're a woman, you have a lot more feminine energy. It's just in your nature and in the rotation of your chakras. You're going to be more nurturing, you're going to be more nourishing, you're going to be more receptive, you're going to be more intuitive. That can be blocked. Of course it can be blocked, but it is your nature. When you're masculine, you have more protection, you have more structure, you have more you have more in the material world. You're more of a support system and a guardian of the sacred spiritual. So we have both, and we need to harmonize and work with both and become one again, right? One, because source and the divine is one, is all, is both. Not necessarily both, but is all. So I don't want you guys, when I say both, to think both man and woman, but both masculine and feminine and all that it entails in the creation process. So what does it mean being that in a relationship? It means as a woman that you're able to go into the spiritual realm, into your intuition, into yourself, and receive the information that you need for your family to grow, to be nourished by the divine, to be receiving messages, to be in that journey of spiritual awareness and growth, because that's what's going to help your family in that ascension process. When you're in that divine masculine energy, it means safeguarding your family so that the women in your family, your wife, and if you have a daughter, can be in a mode where they're able to be still, safe, and have all their needs that are met, right? Because you're not gonna, if you're hungry, if you're angry, if you're jealous, if you're going through all these low vibrational emotions, you're not going to be able to stay still and not have interferences in that connection with yourself, in that connection with the divine. And so the sacred masculine is there to safeguard and to have the structure so that you can have that space to speak to your ancestors, your guides, the divine. What does it mean as a masculine? Now the opposite. It means that your wife is there to support you and guide you in, oh, this is a good move if it comes from our values, if it comes from what we're trying to build in this lifetime, if it comes for the next generation's spiritual growth, if it comes for our descendants' spiritual growth, that they are safe, right? So now everything you do is rooted in strength, in spirituality, in growth. And so you're able to really know your place. It's not roles, it's not gender roles, but it's knowing your place in your mission and knowing your place in your oneness and allowing yourself to be whole. Your man is sometimes going to have intuition and know this is the right move in business. This is the right move at work. This is the right move for my family. Let's do that because it'll allow us to become even more of who we really are. It can be like you start as a small portion of honesty, right? So honesty, I'll give you guys an example of me. Honesty started between me and my partner. And the more honest we were with each other, the more honest we were capable of being with others. And so that means now when I talk to my friends, I'm more honest. And so that allows my friends to be more honest with me. And so we can have deeper conversations of honesty. And so that seeps in to the family dynamic, into the friendship dynamic, and that seeps into our children's dynamic, where they are able to stand firm in their truth because they learned the value of honesty. And so that's what it looks like. What does it mean being feminine masculine energy with the people you deeply love? That's what it means. It means being in your essence, being in your nature, utilizing your personality the way you know how, with your mission, with your role, harmonizing yourself in you, and then building the structures together so that you guys can grow and multiply as you are. I hope that made sense. I felt like I touched a lot of points in there. But it's such a beautiful dynamic. It's such a beautiful way of living. It's such a beautiful way of like co-creating. I think it's super cool that the divine put in us all these complex facilities, but always anchored in our nature. Very cool. So that's all the questions that I have for today. If you guys have questions, send me questions. DM me questions. If you guys have questions that you guys want me to answer, DM them on Instagram, i.justflow or love_warrior8. And then I will do that in the next video. So bye, love warriors. If you want to join a program, the description, my link is on my channel. It will also be in the description box. And if you simply just have questions or just want to chat, then write to me on Instagram or on my email. See you in the next one.